There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes. Starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like coral snakes, or triathlons, or a global heat wave.
And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like losing it at pickleball, forgetting to watch your assigned show, and school.
All of those things are so rough on the world.
They're in our rear view mirror, or something like that.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I don't know.
You know what I like?
What, our theme song?
I love it.
Let's play it.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Hi, Chris.
Hey.
Hi, Garen.
Hello.
So right before we came on the air, I had to confess that I forgot to watch Real Housewives of New York. I just completely forgot.
I didn't. I intentionally watched something else.
Oh, okay. And Garen, you watched it.
I watched it at like midnight.
I will be Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think you had to watch it for today?
He's just up.
Yeah. I thought I had to watch it. I must have.
Garen's a night owl. I know
homework.
this because I've texted him very late about things. My feelings.
How to get your weed.
Yes, I need a gummy, Garen, and he
Well,
just
let me get my
zips right
plug.
over.
Yep.
The 40 miles
Sends it in an Uber.
in an Uber. He's not in the
It
Uber.
would be cheaper
No, he just
to
sends
send the
yeah.
gummy in an Uber alone
Yeah.
than if I were to do it
just
myself.
buckle it in.
Just buckles a little gummy sitting
Drink it
up.
safely.
Yeah.
And then I'm so high I can't speak because it's Garen's gummy. Garen should have his own line of gummies. Garen's gummies.
That's not bad.
Oh, it's got a good ring to
And they
it.
could
Yeah.
be little Garen. Oh, no, little squirrels.
Of course, they're shaped like squirrels.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It has to be.
And it says, get your nut.
Get your nut on.
Get your nut on.
Oh my God, this would be the best product line. I wish we could sell
How do we
these.
do it?
How do we open a weed store?
I think just have a key. I don't think it doesn't seem difficult.
Just have a key.
I mean, they're all over the fucking place. So
Yeah. Why aren't we getting into the weed business?
I don't know. By the way, slight confession. I lost it at pickleball the other day.
Did you yell like at the airport? Were you half a Karen?
I may have been 3/4 Karen.
Did you
3/4
John
Karen.
McEnroe at
Tell us.
pickleball?
Tell us everything.
Well, so I was playing with Oliver on Friday, and he was like, "Oh, it's so much better because there's fewer people on Friday, and it's like not as much pressure because like people won't be upset with you if you're screwing them up because they're just gonna play again in another second anyway, as opposed to having to wait for games."
Okay.
but I still feel pressure, and I just can't do well when I'm playing against people who are so much better than me. I just can't. I just like freeze up.
Okay.
Not freeze up. I mean, I'm not like stuck, but I just don't play well, and then I get really mad. Like I have no sense of humor about it.
Okay.
And
you take it very seriously.
Because it's just like, this is going to sound dramatic, but it's like, do I need to one more thing in my life that I feel incompetent in? You know what I mean? That I'm like not good enough. So I was cursing, like, and I was his partner. I was Oliver's partner. I'm like, fuck.
Okay.
I'm like yelling. Like, that's not the feeling of pickleball. It's supposed to be like friendly. And
You're having a good time.
so I took myself to the easier side, and that was fine.
Okay. Well, I think
It wasn't super, super easy. It was like people of my level, basically. So that was a good move. But I was so embarrassed, and I felt so bad that I did that to him.
how do you think he saw it? Do you think he saw it as big of a deal as you did? Or do you think...
Oh, I think he was probably a little embarrassed, but I apologized, and he was like, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
But,
I feel like that was not 3/4 of a Karen. In your mind?
No, it
Maybe.
was like, maybe Karen isn't the right thing. It was just
you
ridiculous.
You didn't like how you felt about your behavior.
It was embarrassing.
I've done that, millions of that. That's 100% natural to feel just so overwhelmed at something that, especially because you do this every week, so you're probably frustrated that you're not as good as you
why
think you
can't
should
I
be
get
good at this
better?
point.
Right? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
No.
And it's so
all feel
stupid.
that
And
way.
obviously it's symbolic. It has nothing really to do with pickleball. I get that. It's everything. But, you know. So.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry you
So
felt
maybe
that
that's why my
way.
nails are all gone on one side.
I think on the Karen meter, your Karen meter was low.
Thanks.
Two things to share. We watched Vertigo
Oh.
with the kids.
And was that from the pile of...
That was from the pile of movies in the hat. Mm-hmm. They really liked it.
Oh, good.
Benji's first question was, is there a sequel?
Oh, that is so funny. Oh, my God.
He goes, I don't think... I'm going to spoil something about Vertigo, so if you haven't seen this, pause it. I don't know, skip it. Don't pause it. Skip ahead.
Pause it until you
Pause
go
it
watch
until you
it.
watch Vertigo.
And then
Watch
come back.
Vertigo, come back. Okay. He goes, I don't think she died.
Oh,
So is there a sequel so we can find out what happened to her? And I was like, no, she did. And he goes, well, I just feel like there should be a sequel because it just felt like there's a lot of unanswered questions.
you should have told him, if you watch all the credits, you'll see the tease for the next sequel.
There's
in
an
it.
Easter egg.
That's amazing.
I said maybe we watch more Alfred Hitchcock movies. There's a lot of icy blondes. And Jimmy Stewart's running
Is
around.
that one Grace Kelly?
No, that is Kim Novak.
Oh yeah, Kim Novak, the sweater actress.
The sweater actress.
That's what I call her.
She does a lot of acting with her sweater?
Yeah, basically her. She's got those pointy boobs, and like that's her whole thing.
That was a time.
She's no Grace Kelly, is what I'm saying. I don't think she's like a really good actor.
In acting.
2 friends of the show updates. Not really updates,
Okay.
but Jimmy and I went to go see Lauren Ash. She's a rock star now.
I've seen a lot of things on social media that seem like she had recorded an album or something.
Yeah, so she has a single, which she wrote, and it's super fun. It's like pop punk is her style.
Yeah.
So we went to go see her perform at Whiskey.
Wow.
And she did covers except for that song.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because I knew the covers and Jimmy didn't because they were like 2000s songs.
He's like, I stopped listening to music in 1989.
Yes. That would be late. So, like she did a whole cover. And anyway, so that was really fun. So look out, find Lauren Ash's single.
Go, Lauren.
It's super fun. And then I finally started, I had bought it a while ago, but I hadn't started reading it. I finally started reading John Ross Bowie's book.
Yes.
No Job for a Man.
Yes.
And it's a memoir, and that's really good too. So, I mean, I'm just kind of like 50 pages in.
I love it.
Yeah. So that was a little update on our guests.
I love when our guests do well. Another update on our guests,
Yes?
I just realized, is in a few days, everyone can watch Minx season
Yes!
3? 2.
2.
On
I was gonna,
Stars.
Okay, I was going to tell you. I was like, wait, I think Minx is out. Okay, so it hasn't started yet.
It maybe is, I mean, by the time this airs,
It will
you
start.
will be
Okay.
able to watch it.
Yes.
But you will have to get Stars to watch it,
Yes.
which I think we will, just to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have Stars. I'm going to have to Is Stars one of those things that also plays on like Hulu?
I think
or
on
something?
Amazon it'll be like, you can get this for an extra $4.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to figure it out because I really do like that.
I want to watch it.
Should we get into today's episode?
I think we should.
Okay. I don't even know what it is. I'm so excited.
I know. Oh, you are going to be so excited.
right.
Hold on. Glasses and talk quietly amongst yourselves.
Peas and carrots, peas and carrots.
Oh my God. Nice. Okay. So today I'm going to give you some, I'm going to give you some recent headlines.
Before you tell us the topic?
That's going to give you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Love it.
NBC News. Southwest heat wave simmering since spring will expand to cover much of U.S. BBC News. Heat wave in U.S. Southwest region to expand east. Washington Post says this week will be summer's hottest so far over the lower 48. New York Post says Texas father smashes windshield to save crying baby from scorching car as heat waves continue to swelter the U.S.
Was his baby in the car?
Wasn't his baby.
Oh, it's a Texas father, so it makes it sound like it's...
Yeah, it was somebody
what
else's.
What the fuck? Who still leaves their fucking baby in a car?
People still forget.
How?
There was a situation where somebody locked their keys in the car and the
Okay,
kid was in there too. If it's that, that's maybe the only time you can excuse that.
Fox News says photos show Hunter Biden and Dad's Corvette at Delaware home. Same day as shakedown message.
So we're going to cover Hunter Biden this episode? Is that what you're saying? How about Hunter Biden extra hot?
Exactly. That would have been even better.
I can't believe that idiot showed literal pornography.
That
on
was
the Senate floor, the Congress, whatever.
That was their main story.
Yeah. Did
So-
she didn't actually show pictures of Melania. That was just like a doctored photo.
No.
No,
Marjorie,
I know she showed photos of Hunter, but she didn't also show photos of Melania, right? That
Oh,
was
I
just
don't
a
know.
joke.
That I don't
okay,
know.
all right.
I don't know. Probably.
I think someone like okay. Anyway,
I'm going to talk about extreme heat,
yeah.
how we're going to survive it.
Yeah.
We're going to try.
Are we?
I don't know.
Are we going to survive it?
We might not.
All right.
Some of us will. In the U.S., extreme heat leads to more deaths than hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, and earthquakes combined.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's also called the silent killer because experts don't even know all of its effects on the human body. We don't even have a death toll right now because it's really hard to get a count on actual bodies from heat because a lot of times it's, cardiac issues and people are dying from heat and they aren't able to determine. It's maybe counted as other reasons. But it is heat that is killing people.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
another friend of the show, I saw yesterday on the picket line, I saw Mike Siegel. He says
Yes.
hello, by the way.
Hi, Mike.
He works a bunch of cruise ships.
Yes.
And he was telling me that regularly old people just die on the cruise ship. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean regularly? He goes, well, they're just old and they just die. They just put them on ice. And then some cruise line got in trouble because they were putting them like where the drinks are stored.
Oh my God. I mean, listen, you already know I'm never going to go on a cruise,
Yeah, right. No, you're really not.
but that wouldn't help.
No.
But also, yeah, it also could be heat.
Yeah.
Heat kills a lot of old people. That's what I'm about to say. Puts a burden on older and lower income people, outdoor workers, and in prisons. I don't have time to get into this, but I did some reading about this. So Texas has had hundreds of deaths in their prisons.
Oh my God.
According to recent research in the past decade, it's over hundreds, even though Texas is like, we haven't had a single death.
Oh.
Temperatures soar past 115 degrees often in their prisons. Over
Wow.
70% of Texas prisons are not air conditioned.
70% in the U.S. or in Texas?
This is in Texas alone, where the temperatures often inside of prisons go past 115 degrees. And so families are lobbying and saying, they have humanity that, it's inhumane.
Yeah.
And the officials are like, no one's ever died from heat in our prisons. So, there's a little bit of a disparity between these two facts. Alternate facts, guys. There are many non-fatal health consequences in a heat wave. The longer the heat wave sticks around, the worse things get, which is what a large part of the U.S. and the world finds itself in this summer. So most of us here and most of our listeners are probably in a heat wave right now. And if you're not, you're going to be.
Right.
Just,
Buckle up.
Just stick around. So Earth, for the last 16 days, has been the hottest recorded temperatures on record. And the planet's surface temperature is on track to break a record set only a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my God.
Why, guys? Why? Okay. Last month was the warmest June.
Libtards?
I think it's libtards.
Okay.
It's us. Last month was the warmest June on planet Earth since record keeping began in 1850, according to this nonprofit group called Berkeley Earth. Hippies.
Earth. Yeah.
Berkeley Earth.
Tree huggers.
And it's not just the air, the ocean is getting hotter too.
Yes.
So Danielle and I might be like, good.
Right. We talked about this last week, I think, about the 96 degrees.
And we're like, yay.
Yeah.
But
Florida.
some minor issues about the Earth.
The death of coral
the ocean
and
getting
animals.
warmer
Yeah.
is, thermal expansion, coral bleaching, accelerated melting of Earth's major ice sheets,
Right.
intensified hurricanes, and changes in ocean health and biochemistry. Okay, so this is a little bit of a spoiler alert. So
About
as
the Earth.
yeah,
The Earth's
Yes.
going to die in the
as
next year.
horrifyingly hot as this summer has been for many of us, it may be one of the cooler years for the rest of our lives.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I'm not. This is the truth. This is
Okay.
maybe the coolest year we're going to have.
I mean, it's
forever.
It's a belty year.
It is always a belty year, though. So we have that to
Yeah,
look
so
forward
that's
to.
cool.
You're always going to look good in your belt while you melt.
Right. It's a melty year.
It's a melty year. Okay, I'm going to briefly using as little science words as possible, explain why this is happening.
Okay.
And some of it you're going to be like, duh, I knew that. Number one, heat domes have settled over parts of the world. So this was caused by Stephen King's book, The Dome.
It was? That's how hot of a writer he is?
He's so good.
He should have written that under a pseudonym like he does sometimes, and then it wouldn't have been as successful.
He should write The Undome and reverse it. So this is what causes this. Okay, heat wave is caused by a buildup of high pressure in the atmosphere. This pressure compresses, heats up the air below it, and then as the air goes down, it pushes out all the cooler air, squeezes away the clouds, and then the sun has full access.
Oh, okay.
The ground, which includes soil, sand, concrete, asphalt, is then baked. Temperatures go up. Plus, the jet stream, I'm not going to explain that because I can't.
No.
You can go to science for that.
Okay.
Can hold the dome in place for extended periods. Florida, California, and Arizona are now baking under these heat domes. Okay, so we're in a heat dome
Yeah.
with Florida and Arizona, which is
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah, we don't generally want to be coupled with them.
We don't want to group up with them. We do like some things about Florida and Arizona, though. So we don't want to completely root them out.
No.
Number two, it's a big El Nino year. El Nino, because I'm always like, I don't know, what is that?
It's a certain wind that comes up a certain direction.
Very nice,
Yeah.
Danielle. You're smarter than I am.
Science.
It's a climate pattern that's caused by warm water spreading along the equator in the Pacific Ocean. This adds additional warming, so the heat in the Pacific gets transferred to the atmosphere,
Oh.
and it may have already contributed to early season heat waves in Asia. And now it's coming for us. Number three, there's one thing that's making heat waves more extreme that I haven't mentioned yet. Does anybody have an idea of what that might be?
Global warming?
Climate change, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't want to say global warming.
I'm scared.
You're Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to come after you if you say global warming.
She might come after me, and she's got big biceps. I know she does a lot of
Does she do PX90 or something?
yeah. Doesn't she do?
I'm shoveling all
she
that
like-
bullshit.
Oh, it's a shovel. It's a shoveling bullshit day.
Yes.
Work out my arms on Mondays and Wednesdays.
This is stuff you know. Cars, factories, power plants have warmed the world by about 1.2 degrees Celsius.
Celsius.
They do a lot of selfies.
Yeah.
That's 2 degrees Fahrenheit. That's since the Industrial Revolution. So we're on track to blow past the 1.5 degrees Celsius in a matter of years without reducing our fossil fuel emissions. You guys know this. This is according to the world's top climate scientists, if you believe those nerds.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I say those words, though, do you know what that means? When I say
No.
that 1.5 degrees Celsius?
No.
Because when they say that, I'm always like, oh, I don't know what you mean.
Put it in Fahrenheit.
But okay, if I said it in Fahrenheit, would you know what that means?
That the Earth is getting warmer? How would I not know that?
Yes, but like when I say we're on track to blow past 1.5 degrees Celsius. What is that? Why is that number important?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Okay.
You're
That's
right.
what I'm talking about.
That's
Okay,
the point
I'm
of
a
return,
fool.
right?
No, I just wanted to know if other people understood that. And
No,
I didn't. Okay.
I'm just being silly. What?
We're all fools.
Yeah.
Is that the point of no return temperature?
Kind of.
increase?
So I did a little research to kind of get an understanding of what that means. Okay. Since the last ice age ended nearly 12,000 years ago, that was a while. Danielle's already yawning.
Sorry.
She's like, oh my God, this is really long. The Earth's long-term average global temperature has never varied by more than 1.5 degrees above a stable 14 degrees Celsius. That's 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
Meaning
Overall, the stable
average.
temperature. Yes.
Okay.
But within a decade of fossil fuel emissions I'm going to start over. But within a decade, that's in the next 10 years, fossil fuel emissions accumulating in the atmosphere and trapping more of the sun's energy are expected to drive global temperatures above that 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit warming mark.
Okay.
So they're saying we're going to blow past it. We're not supposed to.
Right.
So,
And all this like electric vehicles and stuff isn't helping?
it is, but it's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's
We got to
not
get
enough.
more electric vehicles.
We got to do a lot more.
Take away the gas cars.
We got to do so much more.
Right.
Okay. Here's what will happen because it's not enough. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay. Coral reefs face almost complete die-off. Unheard of storms become more common. Melting ice leads to flooded cities. This is already happening.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, guys, this is going to happen in the
Right.
future. Okay. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can prepare for extreme heat. These are practical things that we should all do.
Roll up your pants in case there's a flood?
Yeah. Have a canoe.
Sure.
Okay. How about
Get sunbum.
get your sunbum?
Sunblock.
Don't take it to the airport. All right. How can you prepare that? How can you prepare for extreme heat? This isn't climate change stuff. This is we're in a heat wave. You got to be safe.
Oh, in the immediate.
In the immediate, yeah. I'll give you some other tips later. How can you prepare? How about using fans? Well, they do create airflow, but a false sense of comfort. They do not reduce body temperature or prevent heat-related illnesses.
Oh,
So
okay.
If you don't have air conditioning, I'm talking about if you don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
A lot of people do not have air
Of
conditioning.
course.
In Europe, most people do
I
not have air
know.
conditioning.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to do. Find places where you live where you can get cool, such as libraries, shopping malls. Contact your local health department to find a cooling center in your area. Cover windows with drapes or shades. Weather strip your doors and your windows. You can get window reflectors specifically designed to reflect heat back outside. They sell them on Amazon. They're not expensive. I looked
Interesting.
it up.
But then will that further warm the earth?
No, they're not bad for Earth.
Okay.
Okay. I almost said add insulin.
Add insulin to your diet?
Add insulation to keep the heat out. Install window air conditioners if you can afford them.
Yeah.
Insulate around them. I also read, put wet paper towels in the freezer, and you can cool your body temperature that way. Take cold baths.
Okay.
Lower your body temperature. Because then the fan will be helpful to you.
Interesting. Okay.
If you are unable to afford your cooling cost, weatherization, or energy-related home repairs, contact the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program for help. That's a good resource. Okay. Be safe during. Oh, okay. These are some obvious things. This seems pretty obvious, but a lot of people still do this kind of stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing? Avoid high-energy activities or work outdoors during midday heat.
Right, but if that's your job.
If that's your job, then
Right.
you're in trouble, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and I'm sad that you have to do this. Check on family members, older adults, and neighbors. Never leave people or pets in a closed car on a warm day. Come on, people. Go to a cooling center. I already said that. Wear loose, lightweight, light-colored clothing. Use your oven less. Don't cook.
Done.
Store your sweaters in the oven like Carrie did on Sex and the City.
Oh, is that a thing she did?
That's what she did.
Did she then accidentally set her apartment on fire?
No, because she never used her oven.
Oh, okay.
If you're outside, find shade. Wear a hat wide enough to protect your face.
But wait a second. Why would they tell you to store your sweaters in the, how is that helpful?
I just said that.
Oh, okay. I thought that was an actual tip. It will make you not use your oven if there's
It'll make you not wear your sweaters.
out of season.
Yeah. Okay. going to talk about heat stroke.
Okay.
So you know to look for the signs and how to help someone
Yep.
if they have it. It can occur without any previous heat-related condition, such as heat exhaustion. Here are the signs and symptoms. Fever of 104 degrees Fahrenheit or greater. Changes in mental status or behavior, such as confusion, agitation, and slurred speech.
I might constantly be in a state of heat stroke.
We need to get you a AC.
Hot, dry skin, nausea and vomiting, flushed skin, rapid pulse, rapid breathing, headache, fainting, seizure, coma.
Oh my God.
Serious. Okay. Call 911 right away. Put the person in a cool tub of water or a cool shower. Hose them off if you need to.
Yeah.
Spray them with a garden hose. Sponge the person with cool water. Fan the person, misting. Place ice packs or cool wet towels. Get them cold.
Yeah.
Cover the person with cool damp sheets. If they're conscious, offer them cold water or a sports drink. Nothing with alcohol.
Oh, no.
Begin CPR if the person loses consciousness. I went to a couple sites and a lot of them said don't give them anything to drink. But I think because when they're that confused, their trachea can close and they can choke. But
Jesus.
if they're upright and conscious, obviously you can offer them something to drink.
Right. Like you always see in movies like people trying to like force water down someone's throat.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I can
think
see that.
If they're alert enough that they seem they can drink. But the first item of business is cool their body down.
Right.
That's the main... The first thing doesn't have to be to get them to drink.
Right. Okay.
Heat exhaustion is less severe. They'll have heavy sweating as opposed to heat stroke where they might not be sweating.
Oh.
Okay. Heavy sweating, rapid pulse. If you think you have heat exhaustion, stop all activity and rest. Move to a cooler place. Drink cool water and sports drinks. If your symptoms get worse, call your doctor. Okay, so this is a little sideways direction, but I wanted to share, I found something that I thought was so interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. From the animal kingdom.
Okay.
Beavers are heat wave heroes, you guys.
They are?
Yeah. So I read this amazing article by his name's Benji Jones, so I'm already inclined to like him because his name's Benji. I'm going to give you some highlights, and I'll put the whole article in the newsletter. So beavers, they're web-footed, fat-tailed, amphibious. And I'm sorry to tell you, Danielle, they are rodents.
Oh,
They're big and cute.
Okay, they are pretty cute.
So they help countless other animals survive a heat wave. And I think humans too. So listen to what they do.
Okay.
Not only do they drench certain landscapes in cold water, but they also help cool the air. They even make forests and grasslands less likely to burn. So once upon a time, beavers were hunted nearly to extinction in North America and parts of Europe, and some people still consider them pests. But if we know one thing about beavers, what do we know? What do we know that they do?
They build dams.
Exactly. Dams form ponds, widen rivers, and create wetlands.
Okay.
Building all kinds of these aquatic habitats that many other animals like birds and frogs rely on.
Okay.
Dams can deepen streams, and deeper layers of water tend to be cooler. As streams run into these structures, they can start to dig into the riverbed. So according to Emily Fairfax, who's an expert in ecology and hydrology at California State University, Channel Islands, so she said there can be a 6-foot deep pool behind a 3-foot high beaver dam.
Okay.
So dams also help force cold groundwater to the surface.
Oh.
They block water as it rushes downstream, forcing some of it to travel underground where it mixes with chillier groundwater before resurfacing. So that's really important for a lot of temperature-sensitive species like salmon and trout,
Okay.
which we want to protect because they feed a lot of other
delicious.
animals, and humans like to eat them. Beavers also can help chill the air. If you're standing near a beaver meadow, pretty much anywhere, it's going to be way cooler. So as the water in a beaver habitat starts to evaporate, the air cools down. That's because turning water into vapor requires energy, and some of that energy comes from the heat in the air. This is how swamp coolers or evaporative coolers work. It's the same reason sweating cools the body down.
Okay.
It's like an AC system sitting out there in the landscape, keeping the air temperature like 10 or 15 degrees cooler.
Wow.
So as we know, heat waves can fuel other problems like droughts and wildfires. Here again, beavers can help. So beaver dams flooding the landscape with water is good because wet things obviously don't burn as easily.
Right.
Right? You don't hear about like the Florida Everglades being on fire.
Right.
Yet, I hope.
I mean, tune in tomorrow.
Yeah. The plants are effectively irrigated year round. This woman, this scientist Fairfax that I talked about earlier, she led a study in 2020 that showed that areas full of beaver dams are relatively unaffected by wildfires. By slowing the flow of water, beavers also help mitigate the severity of floods, yet another natural disaster that climate change can make worse. So beavers are pretty amazing by simply living their best lives, doing what they do, damming up streams with their little tiny hands
Beaver
and
hands.
big teeth. They're helping out all these other animals and ecosystems and us.
Yeah.
I think we need to follow their example and make our cities and towns more resilient. We just need to be like beavers.
Can we put them in places that they aren't right now? Can we put them? I mean, I'm sure they can't survive in the ocean, but
I think that's what they're advocating in this article is
really
like just
relocating the beavers,
adding more beavers everywhere. We need more
It's the
beavers.
Beaver Fest.
Beaver Fest.
Beaver Fest. Think of the promotion.
Oh, I love. Let's see. Beaver Fest 2023. You can't beat our beavers.
Right.
This is going to confuse a few
Forget
people.
a sausage fest. This is a
Yeah,
beaver
Beaver
fest.
Fest. How about you can't lick our beavers?
There you go. I thought we were going to get through the whole thing without making any beaver jokes, but we didn't.
What do you
that's
like
okay.
better? You can't beat our beavers or you can't lick our beavers? You can't lick our beavers.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
Although that might make some people not show up, though.
Yeah, because you want to lick them.
People don't want to do it.
That's true. That's true. So
I don't advocate for putting, non-domesticated animals in houses. However, I implore you to find the video. I don't know why this family has a beaver in their house, but they have a beaver in their house, and the beaver is going back and forth, grabbing toys and making a dam out of them.
I can't wait to see this.
It's amazing.
The fact that this exists,
Yeah.
it brings
It's
so much
hilarious.
joy to my heart. I do have a story to share.
Great.
This is Kirk Wolf's story. It's from 2011. It's in his voice. I don't know what he sounds like, so I'm just going to read it in my voice. I woke up at 5 a.m. ready to tackle my first triathlon. 1 mile swim, 25-mile bike, and 6-mile run. Needless to say, this Sunday morning triathlon turned out to be much more eventful than I could have ever anticipated. After making a short bike ride from our hotel to the triathlon setup and transition area, it was clear it was going to be a hot and humid day. Having trained all winter and spring in Chicago, I was clearly not acclimated to the heat and humidity of Miami.
Oh.
My lack of attention to the conditions and the humidity in particular would turn out to be my first mistake. The swim started at 6:56 a.m. The frenzy at the start of the race as the triathletes plunged into the water and worked to make the turn around the first buoy was both exhilarating and frightening. The waves were powerful and it was going to be a grind to swim that mile. The strength of the waves made it harder to breathe without taking an occasional gulp of salt water. While the swim was more than I anticipated, I ended up finishing in a little over 40 minutes. Imagine swimming 40 minutes in the ocean.
I can't imagine being in a pool for 40 minutes.
I can barely
honestly.
swim one lap
Yeah.
in a regular pool. I took my time walking out of the water, peeling back the wetsuit, showering off the salt water, and moving into the transition area to dump my wetsuit and grab my bike. The ride itself went smoothly, and I really enjoyed it. At one point toward the end of the ride, I glanced down at my arm to see whether the sun was burning me. While I did not see any signs of burning, I was focused on the wrong thing and did not pay attention to the fact I was not sweating heavily.
Oh.
I had been consuming fluids throughout the bike ride, including before and after the transition, 2 bottles of water on my bike and during the ride with water stations. As I took off on the run, I also felt fairly good about my ability to hit my goal to finish the race in less than 3 hours. I cranked up my intensity. This increase in intensity would ultimately turn out to be a mistake.
Ooh.
While I continued to consume water and vitamin water at the water stations, I did not slow down to walk through. As a result, I did not consume as much water as I could have or should have given the conditions. I remember looking down at my watch, seeing I was tracking at 2 hours and 50 minutes, realizing the finish line was less than a mile away. Then everything became fuzzy. The last thing I remember was crouching over to catch my breath. One of my buddies, Dan, stopped to check on me, realized I needed help, and tracked down an EMT. I was suffering from heat stroke, and my temperature had elevated into dangerous territory, reaching a height of 105.7
Oh my
degrees.
God.
The first 10 to 15 minutes of treatment for anyone suffering from heat stroke are the most critical. The EMTs took all the appropriate steps, including moving me into the shade, applying ice packs, and inserting an IV to pump fluids into my body. Dan's awareness and the rapid response of the EMTs saved my life. I awoke in the emergency room and began screaming as the doctors took the necessary steps to keep me alive. I was fortunate.
God.
The hospital was just a 5-minute drive away, and I had some highly competent ER doctors attending to my situation. The doctors worked feverishly to stabilize my body on multiple fronts, including increasing my blood pressure, reducing my heart rate, and getting my kidneys working again. The work done by the ER docs was equally important to saving my life. One of the side effects of heat stroke is hallucination. As I started to stabilize in the ER and my brain started to function again, my mind started racing and hallucinating. As I lay there in my ER bed, I knew I was in Miami, 38 years old, married with 3 kids, and lived in Illinois. It took a while, but I was able to communicate most of this information to the doctors in one-word blocks with nods of my head. At the same time, I was hallucinating. I had been running in the Miami Marathon, not triathlon, and had been struck by a car
Oh my God.
as I ran through a downtown intersection. The hallucination was so powerful I could, and can still, picture the intersection and the initial impact of the car with my body. I even started thinking about how ridiculous it was the Miami police had failed so miserably to protect runners on the course. My hallucination had convinced me most of my bones were broken, and there was a strong chance I would never walk again. To make it worse, even though my brain was racing, I questioned whether I would ever be able to talk normally again. No more kicking the soccer ball with Grace, shooting hoops with Henry, dancing with Lily, and more. It was not until I reached the ICU many hours later and my wife Amy arrived at my bedside that my brain had recovered enough to reconcile what had actually happened. A car had not hit me, I had not suffered a heat stroke, and I would fortunately have a chance at 100% recovery. I spent 5 days in the hospital in the initial recovery from my heat stroke. In my case, as a result of my muscles being so fried, my CPK levels were off the charts. And at one point,
finger looking good.
I know, right? He really loved chicken.
Yeah.
At one point they registered as high as 5,800. They're supposed to be between 100 and 200.
Oh wait, I said the wrong thing. KFC. CPK is the
California
Pizza Kitchen.
I knew it didn't. Okay, sorry. I interrupted your serious story to do a dumb pun that wasn't even the right dumb pun. Apologies.
We got you, girl.
Maybe I need some vitamin water. Okay.
After their chicken pizzas are finger licking good.
I guess.
After a massive diet of fluids and rest, my CPK returned to normal range almost 2 weeks after suffering the heat stroke. As I've learned in researching heat stroke, I clearly checked all the key boxes that led to heat stroke. I was not acclimated to the Miami climate. As a result, the high humidity took its toll. Interestingly, from what I gathered from my buddies who spent time in the ER waiting room, most of the triathlon participants who suffered from heat stroke were also from northern states and likely also trained in vastly different conditions. I feel blessed and lucky to be alive. April 10th, 2011 is a day I will never forget. Without question, it was the most traumatic and terrifying of my life. The impact of my near-death experience has yet to fully settle in. I do know it immediately makes all the cliches very real. Life is short, enjoy every day, stop and smell the roses, take nothing for granted, don't sweat the small stuff, and more. 4 cups of tea, chicken soup for the soul. Those are mine. With each passing day, as I put distance between today and April 10th, I become more determined to turn this experience into a positive and transformative one in my life. Enjoy every day.
Holy moly. I'm shocked that he was there for that long for heat stroke.
Yeah.
So
It's
obviously,
a pretty serious event.
The first thing obviously is you have to get the fever down. But then I guess you said that the muscles are fried? Like you have to...
Yeah, it's this... CPK is an enzyme, is a protein released from the muscles and into the bloodstream. So usually after workout, those enzymes are flushed out. The body naturally flushes them out. But because his muscles were so fried, they weren't flushed out. So he had to just wait for them to return to a normal range.
How scary.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Yeah, because you wouldn't think like... you have to train in the city that you're going, or a similar climate at least.
I guess.
Participate
I mean, it's also possible he would have had that happen no matter what, you know?
Right.
But I mean, it's It's no joke, this heat stroke.
No, it isn't.
Scary.
And I think as we all learn to adapt to a warming Earth, and especially for those of us who live in places that are really affected by these heat domes,
Yeah.
which is, I think, everyone,
Yeah.
really, like you're not going to avoid this heat.
Right.
Unless, I don't know, you live in maybe Iceland,
Yeah.
Norway,
Right.
Finland.
That refrigerator on the cruise with the dead people?
Yeah, maybe you live in a refrigerator on a cruise ship. You're going to have to learn how to adapt and live differently.
Well, that was crazy. It's terrifying. I mean, it's all really terrifying.
I hope what I didn't want to do is make people feel sad about the world, but also like prepare everyone for
Yeah.
the reality of that. This is not like
This isn't a fluke year.
no, this is our new reality, and we also we can be game changers in it. We don't have to sit back and take it. We can make powerful
Right.
changes in our lives. A lot of it I think you do by voting
Yeah.
for the people who care.
Right.
Really, your most powerful voice in this is who you vote for.
Yeah.
You vote for people who care about the environment
Right.
because that really will make the most effective change.
Right. We'll be right back with more fun
I can't wait.
after this.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com, code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents a work love story like no other. Meet Productivity. She's all business.
The Canva doc is done.
Creativity is more of a free thinker.
Whiteboard brainstorm.
They're worlds apart, but sometimes opposites attract. Thanks to Canva.
The data is in the deck.
And now it's an animated graph.
Canva, where productivity meets creativity. Now showing on computer screens everywhere. Love your work at canva.com.
Kristine.
Welcome back to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine.
Oh, I already said your name. Oh, shit. Now the whole thing is fucked up.
Let's just,
boy.
let's stop this podcast.
Let's do it.
We're not doing it right.
Thanks, guys.
What?
I just said thanks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going along with the bit.
Was there a bit? And were you going along with it?
Probably not.
That's the question. How was your break?
It was wonderful.
What did you do? That was so wonderful.
I read a few texts from my husband,
Yeah.
and then
How are things going with Sven?
they're great.
Does the
It's fine.
popsicle juice come through in the text? Does he make crunching sounds? Does he type out crunching sounds?
I can hear it.
Slurping?
Asterisk. Crunch.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Asterisks. Asterisk. Oh, boy.
Jesus.
Were you an
Next song all
English
over
major or
again.
something?
Yeah.
Did you have degrees?
Many.
All right.
So,
yes.
before the break,
Yes.
we talked about how it's too hot for Earth.
Right.
And now with our guest, we're going to talk about how it's too cool for school.
Yes.
Love it.
Tig Notaro is here. A lot of
Finally.
us know her as Tig. I'm going to tell you, for those of you, everyone knows how accomplished she is.
Yeah.
But watch One Mississippi on Prime Video. It's
Yes.
fabulous. You created it, right? It's based on your life.
Loosely,
Loosely.
based on my life. I created it with Diablo Cody.
Oh, right. Very exciting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you can watch her in the film We Have a Ghost, playing Dr. Leslie Monroe. It's available on Netflix.
Right.
She's also, I didn't know this because I haven't seen this yet, in Your Place or Mine. She plays Alicia.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I know she's the best thing in it. It's on Netflix. Lots of fun things you can see, like a documentary called Tig from 2015. It's very special. I've seen it. A bunch of stuff awful that happens to her, and she's like, you know what? I can work with it.
And she's, of course, an amazing stand-up. Let's
Drawn.
not forget that.
Yes, Drawn, her special,
Okay.
HBO.
Yep.
Happy to be here on
Oh,
Netflix.
I saw Drawn, of course.
So funny.
Yep.
Oh
really
my
good.
God. Watch it with my kids.
Yep,
We
same.
all loved it. Under a Rock with Tig Notaro, where she doesn't know who famous people are. It's adorable. I just watched one last night with the woman from Big Bang Theory. I've decided to forget her name.
Kaylee
Cuoco. Very funny. She also has a podcast. I don't know how you have twins also and do all these things. Did you stop sleeping?
You don't really pay attention to them, right?
She's like, oh, I neglect
You're just
them.
a neglectful parent.
Yeah. We have 4 nannies, and we don't ever
Private
interact
chef.
with them.
That's smart. Don't make eye contact.
I was going to say I would put bandanas around their eyes so that you can't make eye contact with them, because then they're just going to expect things from you.
Right.
Keep the expectations
We've
low.
never given them anything to think they should expect anything.
Good.
Yeah.
That is
So,
the best kind of parenting.
Yeah.
One of the other, I'm going to mention one more thing that Tig does that I
We
love.
also don't have 4 nannies. We don't
I
even
know.
have one.
This American Life.
Uh-huh.
You tell a lot of funny stories on This American Life. I've searched out you on This American Life just to listen to
You're
you.
kind.
Because so funny, so good. Find her on This American Life and listen to her because she's very funny on this. You told a story recently about a fireman.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's a great story.
It's
Thank you.
so
yeah,
funny.
Yeah.
It's really special. So seek it out. We'll put it in the
Could
newsletter.
I have heard that on something else? Was it in one of your specials?
Well, I did a Netflix special that was LGBTQ. A bunch of people, like 30 performers.
Oh.
It was insane.
Like in one special?
Yeah, some people I did like maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then I think I did 7 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you get like more time, like if you're gayer?
The shorter your hair is, the longer
you
set.
get. It's like an equal. Okay, proportional.
But it was especially fun to tell that story because the story is about being attracted to a fireman.
Yeah.
And then to do it for an LGBTQ
Right.
audience was really fun. But you know, as I don't know if I said in that version, but it's like you can fall for and be attracted to anyone at any point, and it goes every which way.
Yeah.
And I was truly, genuinely, as this man carried me out of my house in the middle of the night, I was like, this feels so good to be held in the arms of a gigantic, muscular man.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Well, do I? I've thought about it. Sure.
You've heard stories.
Yes,
But
I've seen films.
You've seen lesbians being carried
Yes.
out by firemen, but I truly, it felt so good.
It's so great.
It sounds
I heard
wonderful.
Anyway, I heard the story somewhere. I don't know if I saw which special or if I heard This American Life. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
it's a great story.
Who cares? It happened.
It happened
sounds
and it's really
wonderful.
funny.
It is true.
It's
really
also
funny.
just, I think it's so relatable because I don't know how Danielle feels about this, but I am not a person who is attracted to that sort of man, like those big sort of burly.
Me and you both. I thought.
But, and I've told the story, I'm not going to get into it on this episode because everybody knows it, but my son got badly burned and 4 firemen came up our driveway. And I was like, I want all of you.
Right.
Like, I wanted to marry all of them. Like,
Yeah.
there's something about them too also coming to like protect and save and
yeah,
help.
it's the nurturing
It's-
plus the muscles.
They're so
Well,
like,
and mine had a mustache, but yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, add Burt Reynolds in there and
Yeah.
Yeah.
forget it. It's all this nostalgia of like your childhood.
You know what? I just realized we were talking about Love American Style earlier, as we are wont to do, and we watched an episode last night, and Burt Reynolds was in it, and I said he wasn't good. He didn't have a mustache.
No.
Maybe his powers lie within
Yeah.
his mustache.
That's, you don't want to see Burt Reynolds without a mustache.
Yeah.
My powers lie within my mustache.
Yeah.
So I
Because you
imagine-
twirl it when you're feeling particularly saucy.
I do, and there's only one hair.
Right.
But
Is it that one that
just
just keeps coming? I have that in my chin and it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
I had
comes
a
back.
very awkward, out of place hair story. And I was years ago on a date with a woman having a coffee. Oh, it's so horrifying. It's so horrifying.
Do you want to change the subject of your
No.
embarrassing story?
Look, I'm happy to just divulge all
Yeah,
embarrassing
take all of them.
stories.
Good.
but
Yeah.
This girl reached across.
No.
And keep in mind, she didn't become my wife.
Right.
This was how uncomfortable this moment was. Not that we were there to decide on marriage, but she reached across.
I've heard you guys move fast.
We do. Well, and then we, rent the Penske truck. She reached across the table and she said, "Oh, you have a hair." And it was on my neck, and it was like 6 feet long. Not 6 feet, 6 inches long. She pulls it, and I go with it.
No.
And then,
no.
Yes, it was so.
How do you get out of that?
I mean, I had to just remove her hand from my 6-inch long neck hair that I had never seen before,
Right.
and nobody had
Sometimes
ever.
they just pop up.
Yes,
It's weird.
And so I was like, "Oh, that's part of me."
Attached.
And then I had to just remove it right there, and then check, please.
What we should be talking about is your high school experience.
First, I guess if I back up, because
Yeah.
high school I can barely even talk about because I dropped out of high
Right.
school. But elementary school, I was very into it and interested and I think engaged. And then that started to dissipate around 4th grade,
Oh, okay.
real early.
What happened in 4th grade?
I honestly think that the work just started to get a little harder, like division started to get longer.
I was just going to say,
It gets harder.
I was just going to say, was it long division that broke you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and then multiplication and like the long division where you have to do levels and levels
Math
of.
gets real in 4th grade.
Everything gets real
Yeah.
in 4th grade.
Yeah.
And in fact, I had a friend in 4th grade that had full-blown boobs and on her period. So, like, that's a lot to
Yeah.
be dealing.
That's early.
None of that ever happened for me. No matter what age I got to.
that you skipped over.
Yeah, but to have that going on and doing levels and levels of long division,
Right.
and people would try to make me feel like, oh, you must have been just so smart and bored. You were probably bored. And I'm like, no, I didn't understand. I was having a hard time, and so my grades just totally spiraled. And I also was always the class clown that was interjecting, heckling the teacher and everyone and everything.
Did you do that chair bit that you did on Conan? You just dragged the chair across in your class?
I wish I'd had.
That would have been hilarious.
But you know what I did do? And this was in 7th grade. I was given a test that I think it was just multiple choice or something like that, things where you have to fill things in. And I just put an F at the top and then slid when it was handed to me, I just wrote F and then slid it away and put my head down.
That's
so
amazing.
That's how I was in
yeah.
school. Well, yeah, in art class one time they were all circular tables and 8 kids sitting at a circular table, and we were doing something with yarn. And I got the yarn. And, remember in art class, it's so chaotic. And the teachers wackadoo. And it's a circus in there. So I crawled under the table and ran the yarn through everybody's shoelaces and tied it so that whenever somebody got up,
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Well, thank you.
I don't understand why they didn't just pass you.
Here's your diploma.
I'm in art class even.
Yeah.
I remember my teacher. Did your teachers do this where they would call you up to their desk and show you privately what your grade is?
Yeah.
And then you go sit
down. That
down.
does sound familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. My teacher called me up. And I loved art. I loved drawing. My mother was an artist. My grandmother was an artist. Art was in my world. And I think I was pretty good at it, but I just wasn't applying myself. Mm-hmm. But the teacher was showing me my grade, and I was excited because I was like, "Oh, a 77?"
Oh.
And she said, "No, that's a 1." I had a 17 in art.
Out of 100?
Yeah.
How is that?
Exactly.
Did you remind her about the
possible?
shoelace thing?
I failed 3 grades
You did?
and then dropped out. I have a 7th grade education.
I knew you dropped. Wait, you dropped out in 7th grade? Oh,
No.
because you were 20.
No, the last grade that I had. Did I just say I dropped out in 7th grade?
No, you said you had a 7th grade education.
Oh yeah,
which would imply that
7th grade is the last grade I graduated.
Okay.
And then I went to 8th grade. I failed that.
Okay.
I repeated 8th grade, failed it again. Then they moved me up to 9th.
Because they were just
they were like,
They were just
we
like,
don't know what to do.
Oh gosh.
She can go.
Right.
Yeah. Moved me up to 9th, and I dropped out.
Okay,
So I was basically 43.
So you already had your own apartment. Your mom wasn't really mad.
I was
she was
smoking.
Just,
I was, you know.
Right. So wait. So you dropped out during 9th grade or after 9th grade?
During.
And you were maybe 15 or younger. That's pretty young, right?
She was held back 3 times.
Yeah. I don't really know.
So what? How did your parents react to this? I mean, if you were under 18, right? Mm-hmm. So did they have to give you permission to drop out?
I had to go around and have teachers sign me out to acknowledge that I was withdrawing from school.
Okay. And how did your parents react to this?
Well, my stepfather, I wasn't raised with my father.
Okay.
And then my stepfather, who had been in my life since I was 2, he was very disappointed.
Yeah.
Because he was, how dare you say, yeah. No, of course.
It seems like the base minimum that you should graduate high school.
I did get my GED.
Okay.
And my cat ate it. I know.
Is your cat smarter now?
No, but all of the you got to get a degree, you got to get your GED, and then I left it on the table. My cat ate it, and then my whole point to my family was now it's in a kitty litter box,
Right?
You know, like that. Like nobody's asked for it,
Right.
What is left of it is hanging framed in my
Love it.
office because people are like, your cat did not eat your GED,
And you're like, no,
it did.
Amazing.
But so my mother was a very free-spirited, artistic, funny person, and very into like art and fashion and just all of that kind of stuff. And she always thought I was cool and was supportive of me. She, of course, wanted me to apply myself in life and do a good job, but I don't know. She wasn't as...
She got you.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, what did you do with your days?
Well, I was already... In 9th grade, I was in one of those... I don't know if you had this at your school where you go part of the day to school and then you get to leave to go to work.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
We had vocation.
Yeah.
My school had a strong, because I'm from a small town in the Midwest, and had a very strong vocational program because there were kids who it was like, you're not going to college.
Yeah.
And so we need to prepare you.
Yeah.
And so I did that program. My family's not working class. And so a lot of kids were like, yeah, you're going to learn how to work on a car. You're going to learn how to do hair. You're going to go to your job.
Yeah, I had a job.
Oh, okay.
And so I got to leave school after half of the day and just
And even that you couldn't hack.
What?
Not even half a day.
No, not.
Like, fuck
nor
this
could I
shit.
hack my job. I was like,
What was the job?
I worked in childcare.
Okay.
My good friend had a job at a daycare center, and she was going off to college because she was the normal age and was like graduating and going off to college. And she said, "I'm leaving my job if you want it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll take that." And just a side note, childcare is not the job that you just like pick up like you're working at a pizza, delivering pizzas. But it was good for me because, as we talked about before, kind of that side of me that's a little reserved. I didn't know what to do when I walked into the classroom with the kids because they were crawling on me. And when I had long hair then, they wanted to braid my hair. And I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. Hold on. It just wasn't. But it broke me down in a really great way. And then I really loved my job, but didn't like school. And so that's what I did with my time. And I didn't fully know who I was. I think two of the main things that helped me become comfortable with myself was coming out and becoming a comedian.
I was going to ask, when did you know you wanted to do comedy?
Oh my God, whenever I would hear Billy Joel's song "My Life," where he says,
yes, got a stand-up routine in LA.
Yeah. It was electrifying to me.
Me too, Tig.
Danielle? Yeah.
Okay. First of all, it's the theme song to Bosom Buddies, which is one of my favorite shows ever.
Okay.
Second, it's Billy Joel, who I love.
Yeah, I do too.
And third, the stand-up thing.
Yeah.
So that song has a huge place in my
Same Z's.
brain.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was electrifying.
Yes.
To hear that song and to just hear stand-up routine.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was a big fan of Richard Pryor when I was a kid, and Paula Poundstone and Ellen and Rosie O'Donnell. Like, I was so into Rosie when I watched her on, what was that show? Star Search.
Oh,
when she won that.
Yeah.
And then when she hosted VH1 Stand Up Spotlight.
Yes.
Do you remember? And I don't really follow Rosie now, and it's funny because my wife and I are 15 years apart, and to her, Rosie is a talk show host.
Oh.
And to me, Rosie is
Yeah.
a stand-up.
Right.
Yeah.
And to her, she's an actor, and I understand she did all that, and does all that, but to me, she is a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And when she would introduce all the up-and-coming stand-ups, remember when she would be like, "I'm your host, Nancy Reagan."
Oh,
Like
yeah,
every
yeah,
time
yeah.
she'd be like, "Welcome to
playful,
Stand Up Spotlight. I'm your host, Gandhi." And I would be like, "Oh my God, I cannot take this humor."
Wait, I had another question for you. Oh, about your boys. So you have 7-year-olds.
Yes.
So they are in school, obviously. Or do you homeschool or something? No.
No, they are in school.
So does it ever worry you, or do you ever think about, what if they have the struggles that I had? What if they drop out? I'm sure this is something that's occurred to you.
Sure, it has.
Are you concerned, or?
I wouldn't say concerned. We're, as you can only take it day by day, we're taking it day by day. There's a lot of things where that's just one thing.
Right.
It's like these are vegan boys with 2 moms in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like,
Right.
And we're just trying to have faith that it's, I'm sure, going to sound very naive, and I'm also fine with that, but hoping that just the support and love and life that we're giving them will, I don't know, aid in their...
It's not naive. It's completely true.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah.
And that's the thing is they are only 7 and they've been really great, and they have their off days and off moments and little arguments, but in general, I would say on a near daily basis, Stephanie and I are always like, I can't believe how cool our kids are. Like, I can't believe, just even 7 years in, that it's been as good as it has, and we're aware that could change, whether it's they start to despise school, whether they start to act up or misbehave in certain ways that we don't think we're anywhere near perfect, or that our kids won't have any of these struggles, but we're really trying not to think too much.
There's so much happening in the moment.
Yeah.
And just as a parent who has dealt with a child who deeply despises school, and we did get help for, you can rest assured that you're going to be you're so involved as parents, I'm sure, because all parents who also, we made our kids on purpose, and we did it with the help of science.
Yeah.
You're super involved. And when you have a child who does have a really hard time with school, as I did similarly have a hard time with school, you're going to help, and you're going to give them so many resources, and you're going to be really understanding and loving about it, and not punishing about, it doesn't sound like your parents were punishing about it either, but you're going to have so much empathy about it.
When I said that I dropped out and had the teachers sign the paper, there's a step that I missed that I just remembered. That the paper that was signed came after this. I got in trouble for skipping school. And so I was put in school suspension. Did you have that?
Oh, yeah.
Where you had to go sit in a room.
I did a lot of that.
Same. And so at my school, when you got in school suspension for whatever the offense was, and you get 2 days of in-school suspension, that got you there to begin with, and then you don't get out unless you do your schoolwork.
Right.
And so the days get tacked on if you don't complete schoolwork. So I wasn't doing any of it.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking, because they kept tacking days on and more books and worksheets and stuff were piling up. And I was sitting there truly thinking, I don't know who they think is going to be doing it. And then I just thought, I think I'm going to head out. I think I'm just going to.
That was like the light bulb?
Yeah. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know. I'm going to head home.
Right.
And so.
Life is short.
Yeah. And so I got up and I started to walk out. And it was a gym coach that would oversee the in-school suspension kids. And when I got up to walk out, he stood up and he stood in front of the door. He goes, whoa, 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 where are you going? Where do you think you're going? And I said, I'm going home. I'm going to head home.
Yeah.
And he was like, you can't. You can't. And I go, no, I'm leaving. I'm going home. I quit. And so you could see on his face, he couldn't
he
do
couldn't
it.
process that.
Yeah. They couldn't force me. I'm quitting school. Right now, I'm quitting.
Amazing.
And so I just walked out and I went home.
And you never went back?
I went back and
to get the paper signed.
The paper signed.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think it was, because you said earlier about the math, do you think it was both in a lack of ability in certain academic realms and just disinterest? Was it both?
It was probably both. And then I probably had plenty of, like so many kids, just like things going on at home and, stressful stuff. And, my mother, we had such an up and down relationship and she was very, so fun, so funny. She was kind of the cool mom, and that comes also with an eye roll of like, yeah, but as a mother,
right,
it's a little
put your underwear on,
put something on, right, which is actually true. My mother was she was like, why do we have to wear clothes?
Okay,
and so she just
Chris is getting a little like that. Her.
A little too naked.
Chris is getting to be a naked family.
Well, my husband's German, and they're very naked people. And so lately my kids have been just talking about how my nipples are too big. A lot.
At least you have nipples.
Well, I do have them. But I said they're big because of you guys.
Yeah.
Like they didn't used to be the size, and then I breastfed you. But we were also all hiking together on this...
With those nipples?
No. I mean,
those.
They could barely get
with
me
your
up.
circus nipples.
I know. My circus nipples barely got me up the mountain.
She clipped the carabiner to them, so it was easier to.
It helped me get up the mountain.
Jesus.
But we were all undressing in these cabins together after these hikes, and so there was a lot more nakedness.
Yeah.
And we usually aren't quite that naked around each other. But.
And it's not like my mother was walking around naked all the time, but she was just like, just a free spirit.
A little too free sometimes.
And
for a mom, you're saying.
Very too free.
Yes.
And, sometimes she would just put us to bed and then go out for the night.
Oh.
That kind of thing. You know?
Yes.
So I think she liked to party. And I think there was a part of me where I had kind of a chip on my shoulder as a kid where if I got in trouble for something, I was just like... Oh, really?
Right.
Who
are you to say?
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember being in the principal's office, who I'm actually still very close with because I got in trouble all the time. But she didn't really punish me. She would talk to me for hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
And it changed the trajectory of my life.
Wow.
But I remember her saying in one of the earlier conversations when I didn't know her as well, she said, "What would your mother think if she knew this?" And I said, and this is a famous thing within my family of me saying to my principal, "What if you knew what my mother was doing?" I really it was hard for me to
Yeah.
take things too seriously.
That makes sense.
And then also my mother had a personality where she told me that if anyone has a problem with you, tell them to go to hell.
Uh-huh.
And so that was also in me. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that I have that. I don't overuse it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that I would say that exact line to my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
But I appreciate, all of those things that make me the whatever I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's so interesting. Wow.
Tig, this has been great. Thank you so much. This has been just fabulous.
I feel like we got
I love it.
a lot of good stories.
all right. Well, I'm glad that I gave you something to work with.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
And we'll be right back with, what did we learn today?
Make this new school year an opportunity for your kids to learn important life skills with Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app for families where kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely while parents keep an eye on kids' money habits. Greenlight also helps families get into their fall routine with a chores feature that lets parents assign chores and pay kids allowance when they check them off. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. Greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped, self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Hey, Danielle.
Kristine.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
So ready.
Lauren Ash's #1 single, Now I Know, can be streamed everywhere.
Yes.
#1. Go, Lauren. Season 2 of The Minx started July 21st on Starz, which is also where you can see Season 3 of Party Down.
Okay, great.
The heat is on, and it will kill you.
Yes.
While no cruise
Well,
line...
Glenn Fry's already dead.
He died too?
Yeah.
Man, I am just losing track of who's dead. While no cruise line would give the website Cruise Critic an exact number of deaths per year, one cruise line insider who asked to remain anonymous said up to 3 people die per week
Yes,
on cruises.
Yeah, that's what Mike was saying. I was like, what?
Enjoy your Mai Tai. Texas prisons are like Disneyland. No one ever dies there.
Oh, does Disneyland lie about people dying in their parks?
Allegedly, they get people out before they are declared
to keep their statistics.
Dead. Yeah,
They put them on the
move
tram and send them to the parking lot.
They're on the people mover.
Disney, come on.
That must be hard at Disney World because it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
Stock up on belts. It's going to be too hot to wear anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Jet streams are fast-flowing, narrow.
No, we don't want to know. We don't want to know. You said we're not listening to it.
We're not going to learn what they
No.
are. We're going to stay ignorant about jet streams. In the face of these extreme heat waves, just remember, stay cool, Daddy-O.
Okay.
I don't know what that's from. Is that from a thing?
I don't know. It just popped into my head.
Okay.
It's a famous phrase.
Okay.
Isn't it?
I'm 2023. Oh, I think this is supposed to say
In.
In 2023, temperatures in Death Valley have reached nearly 130 degrees.
Jesus Christ.
Causing tourists to flock to the desert to experience the feeling of the extreme heat.
Wait, what? People are going to see what it feels like?
No. Just why don't you go to a sauna?
No. No.
You can do that. Just
absolutely no.
Forget governments. The beavers will save us.
Yes.
We're all counting on you, beavers.
Yep.
Check with your local communities for ways to best help with environmental protection projects.
Do it.
The idea of using a hook on offending performers goes back to at least 1903 when Harry Miner's Bowery Theater in New York hosted amateur night competitions in which bad acts got the hook, the famous shepherd's crook that would intrude from the wings and herd the offending performers off stage. The Gong Show used the gong for this purpose. So I don't know where I saw that. I guess I went to Harry Miner's Bowery Theater in New York in 1903 with my time machine.
Yes.
So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
And that we didn't scare you too much. If you like what we're doing, wow. Wow. You know what? Wow.
Just wow.
Just wow.
Just wow.
Just wow us.
We should start a band called Just Wow.
Oh, right?
Don't you think that would be a good, like,
Yes.
punk pop
Yeah.
band? Just Wow.
We would be so fun. Would
Or-
we play at kids' birthday parties?
That's how we'd start, but then
Yeah.
we'd
expand.
Yeah.
And we'd
sure.
open for like Bananarama on their reunion tour.
That's right.
I love it. I'm going to wear hot pink lipstick.
Yes.
And a day glow jumpsuit.
Love it.
Not heels because that's out. So probably some kind of funky Birkenstock. I know that's not your scene,
No.
but you'll wear a cute sandal that's
Okay.
also orthopedic.
Great.
I'm not sure those two words have ever been put together before.
Funky Birkenstock.
Funky Birkenstock.
Yeah. Funky smelling Birkenstock.
Yeah, well, that too. Anyway, you can support us on Patreon. You know, you can leave us a review. We love that. You can go to our socials and tag us or whatever. Leave a comment. We love to share them. And until next time, remain calm.